Good morning from Bologna. I really can tell you how much we miss you all and how happy I am to have this opportunity to meet you virtually, at least. As you know, the Bologna Book Fair has become along the years more and more familiar with China. Chinese publishers have been attending our fair in great numbers since many years ago. In 2018, we enjoyed the wonderful program of China as the guest of honor of the fair. And in the same year, BolognaFiere became the co-organizer of the China Shanghai International Children's Book Fair, which is now the feather in the cap of our international activities. Therefore, let me say that we couldn't miss this year, although it's a different year and a different fair indeed, to organize the second edition of the Focus Market on China. I wish to thank for their participation our guests who will offer you a deep insight into the amazing world of children's publishing in China. And many thanks to all of you for being with us also on this virtual venue. I know well the children's publishing community, and I know how strong, creative, and committed it is. We will keep on working hard together and will eventually get out of this tough situation with new projects, new plans, and even closer relationships. I do look forward to meeting you, dear friends, in person in Shanghai at BCBF next November. So goodbye and enjoy the meeting.
Hello, my name is Donna. I'm General Manager of BolognaFiere China. I'm glad to welcome you in this webinar. We are living in exceptional circumstances that affect every aspect of our lives and will bring many changes to the publishing industry. In this unprecedented context, we must get ready to face new challenges and seek for every opportunity available. Now more than ever, understanding the business, sharing market information, and building joint strategies are vital to the future of our industry. This is why we have deployed all the resources at hand to offer this online session about the Chinese children's book industry. It will feature a comprehensive analysis of the Chinese children's book industry development in 2019, delivered by Dianshun, one of China's leading market analysts and editor-in-chief at China Publishers Magazine. This report will be followed by presentations by Dawei, president of Tomorrow Publishing, and LeeAnn Bortolussi, international foreign rights manager of Giunti Editore, Italy. They will share their experience as some of the most active stakeholders in the publishing exchange running between China and the rest of the world. Finally, I will give you a few elements on what we are preparing at the next edition of the China Shanghai International Children's Book Fair, taking place from November 13 to 15. Thank you.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Ren from China's Publishers Magazine and the China South Publishing Group. Today, I'm very glad to communicate with you in this way. This year, we all know the coronavirus pandemic has changed the whole world. Our life, our job has been greatly affected, and the publishing industry is also facing challenges. It's such a pity that the Bologna Book Fair offline was cancelled. However, thanks to the efforts of the organizers, we are able to communicate with you in this way. In the past 10 years, I and my colleagues have been reporting and studying the development of China's publishing industry. Today, I will share some of our observations and studies. I hope this information may be helpful for understanding the China's children's book market. My report includes 3 parts: the overall market, the imported books, and the future trends. In China, we also used to using the West method to classify the publishing industry into 3 parts: educational books, customer books, also called trade books, and professional books. Last year, the overall size of China book market was about 210 billion RMB. It's about 30 billion US dollars, of which educational books accounted for about 57%. Trade books accounted for about 33%, and professional books accounted for about 9%. It should be noted that the 210 billion RMB refers to the retail price, the cover price in total, not the total revenue. If converted to sales revenue, the number will be a little more than 100 billion RMB. For trade books, in China, the e-commerce platforms such as Alibaba and JD are the main distribution channels. Due to this, the discount of books is very high. The proportion of children's books in trade books was about 38%, is the largest segment. The total sales of children's books was about 26 billion RMB last year, achieved about 18% year-on-year growth. In the past 10 years, China's children's publishing has maintained an average annual growth rate of more than 20%. But in the first quarter of this year, due to the pandemic, China's book retail market experienced its first negative growth in 20 years, and the children's books were no exception. Now let's look at the subcatalogs of children's books. The largest subcatalog has been children's literature, but the market share of children's literature has been decreasing in recent years, from about 37% in the year 2015 to about 27% in last year. The fastest growing subcatalogs is comic, cartoon, and picture books. In the past 5 years, the proportion of this kind of books increased obviously. The new generation parents of post-80s and post-90s realize that every time children read a picture book, it's a journey of discovery, helping children open a world full of unknowns, helping them form image-thinking ways. So they buy a lot of picture books for their sons and daughters. Next, let's look at the market players. In China, for historical reasons, almost every province had their publishing group, and each publishing group had their children's publishing house. These years, more and more publishers have joined in publishing children's books. The competition is fierce. But until today, there's no super giant in the children's book market. The market concentration of top 10, we also call the CR10, is 27%, far below 50%. On this slide, the top 10 children's publishing houses are listed. They are all state-owned. There are also many private companies in children's book market, such as UTop, LeeAnn, and so on. In recent years, Sichuan Children's Publishing House ranking has improved a lot. To the second position last year, the Little Zip series contributes a lot. Next, let's see what are the best sellings in China. Among the top 30 of the list, there are only 4 foreign writers' work last year, but in the year before last year, the number was 19 in total. But don't too worry about this. It's not that foreign writers have become less popular. It's just because the Little Zip series are shocking hot. Very, very popular. In the top 30 list, 19 of them are occupied by Little Zip. Okay, after introducing the overall, now let's look at the performance of foreign copyright books in China. Over the past few decades, China has introduced a large number of copyrights from all over the world, and their Chinese publishers have established good relations with overseas publishers. The publishing philosophy, the professionalism have greatly benefited Chinese publishers. Let's look at the figure. Children's books imported from abroad have shown an overall upward trend in China. Regardless of numbers, titles, sales volume, they account for about 1/3 of the whole market. The titles shares were still rising, while the sales amount has begun to go down since the year 2016. As for the slight decline in sales, it's because in recent years, the international children's book market also lacks some super products like Harry Potter. Now let's look at where the copyright are mainly from. It should be noted that for the introduction for copyright, we don't have official statistical data for the year 2019, so we used 2018. In the year 2018, the United States ranked first, followed by Great Britain and France. In the past 5 years, the United States and the United Kingdom has been among the top 2, with obvious advantages. France, Japan, South Korea, and Germany are the second camp. Italy, Belgium, Australia, and Canada are also in the top 10 of the list. Like Italy and Belgium, they have excellent publishing traditions and histories of children's books, and many works are loved by Chinese children. There are also many publishers in these 2 countries that have established more in-depth cooperation with Chinese publishers. They plan products together, hold awards together, which helped the Chinese publishers better go into the world. Chinese publishers are very grateful for this. Okay, in the third part, I'd like to share some keywords of the trends. The first is about the growth. After more than a decade of rapid growth, China's children's book market is expected to continue this growth. Compared with the United States, Japan, and the countries in the European Union, the share of children's book market in China still has room for growth. Based on China's huge population and parents' emphasis on education, we believe that the market will continue growing for at least 3 to 5 years. For children, sunshine, love, and many beautiful things have no borders. The high-quality children's book copyright from all over the world will continue to be welcome in China. China's publishers will, as always, long for international cooperations and hope to bring good works from all over the world to Chinese children. In the future, we believe there is huge room for cooperation. Classic work, super IP, serialized works, and non-fiction children's books are more likely to gain continuous attention and market success. The third trend is about the digital media. In last year's report, I mentioned our survey found people in East Asia, including China, Japan, and South Korea, used mobile phone and digital devices more frequently than in Europe and in the United States. AR children's books, audio children's books, and multimedia interactive children's books have developed rapidly in China. This year, affected by the COVID-19, from the end of January to the present, many primary and secondary schools in China has not yet started. Students study at home. Due to this, online learning and video teaching are become an alternative. In the future, the digitization of children's book is also an inevitable trend. It will also bring a new market beyond paper books. I hope that we can also have more cooperation in this regard. That's all. Thank you for listening. If you want to get more information, please email me at follow. At last, I want to say I hope the pandemic will end as soon as possible and the world return to normal earlier. In this difficult period, we also look forward publishers all over the world working together to help children through this lockdown time with our books and our loves. Finally, hope you safety and health. See you next year in Bologna. Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm Dawei from Tomorrow Publishing House. It is my pleasure and honor to have such an opportunity to talk to you about the trends on the overall situation and the trend of Chinese children's book market. Tomorrow Publishing House, founded in 1984, is a children's publishing company in China. In tandem with the rapid development of Chinese children's book market in the past more than 30 years, from a small company of about 20 to 30 staffs, Tomorrow Publishing House now has become a medium-sized company with more than 1,000 titles published annually and a sales revenue of over $60 million. There is a well-known saying in the Chinese children's book market that children's book publishing and the children's book market experienced a golden decade. I agree with this statement, but there is no consensus on which year is the beginning of the golden decade. In fact, the beginning of the golden decade can be traced back to 2005. Thus, the end of the decade should be the year of 2016. The reason for no consensus on the beginning is that since 2016, Chinese children's book market has still maintained a rapid growth momentum. Therefore, it can be said that the Chinese children's book publishing market and the retail market have been growing rapidly for 15 years. In the process of rapid development in Chinese children's book publishing industry and retail market, the retail channels are undergoing profound changes. Book sales over the internet increase rapidly at an alarming rate, while those of brick-and-mortar bookstores gradually decrease. Especially in recent years, this trend becomes more and more obvious. The retail scale of online bookstores has been growing at a double-digit rate for many years. Currently, sales of online bookstores account for about 70% of total retail sales. Although COVID-19 happened in the first quarter of this year, the sales of online bookstores still increased by 3%, while the sales of brick-and-mortar bookstores fell by 54%. The sales growth of online bookstores has also transformed the roles in the retail book market. Publishers must discount book prices to maintain their market share, which leads to a decline in publishers' profit margins. Books written by writers who are paid royalties rather than remuneration are clearly at a disadvantage in this competition, because the settlement discounts publishers give online book dealers are too large. The added costs of royalties, paper fees, and printing fees are sometimes higher than the settlement price between the publishers with the online store. This is a common phenomenon that online bookstores offer generous discounts to promote books. In order to participate in online bookstores' promotion, publishers have to negotiate with the authors of literary books to reduce the royalty rate. Because the gap between books' listing price and selling price is so large. However, online bookstores' promotion has created more readers' demands, and thus the children's book retail market as a whole has continued to grow. Online bookstores are increasingly dominant in the retail market. so publishers have to constantly adjust their book pricing and book presentation forms to adapt the selling mode of online bookstores. In the past few years, Tomorrow Publishing House has been constantly improving its ability to adapt the selling mode of online bookstores and has achieved fruitful results. The sudden outbreak of the COVID-19 in early 2020 has influenced all aspects of our society and economy, including children's book publishing industry. After this March, the books of Tomorrow Publishing House have been sold a little more than last year, although the brick-and-mortar bookstores in China are still adversely affected. Based on a good market foundation and strong reader demand, the overall market for Chinese children's books has just slightly declined, but it has not been hit hard, even when the epidemic is not over. Therefore, based on the fact that the Chinese children's book publishing market has continued to prosper in the past 15 years, I believe that China's children's book publishing industry will have significant growth after the epidemic. Building confidence, making products more competitive, adjusting marketing strategy, and innovating marketing models with the times are the keys to the success in the children's book publishing industry. I believe this also holds true for the children's book publishing industry in other countries of the world. Here, I sincerely wish all colleagues and friends much happiness, good health, and success. Thank you.
Hi everyone, this is LeeAnn Bortolussi. I'm the International Rights Manager from Giunti. We're based in Florence. I'm coming into you from Milan, and we all are virtually in Bologna. It's great to be here. Thank you to Elena Pasoli and all of her team for having us today. And I want to talk to you about children's books and China, Italy and China. What I wanted to call this is Traveling the World, a colorful bridge of children's books between Italy and China. And it's because Giunti has been present in the international children's books market for a long time, and especially with China, they've been one of our strongest trading partners over the years. Despite all the changes and developments that have happened in all this time, we have been buying rights from China. China has been buying rights from us, and it remains a very strong, enthusiastic, colorful, and fascinating market for us. We really enjoy working with them. I'll try to talk to you a little bit about what's happened with Giunti and China in the past and what looks like coming on in the future. So one thing I want to share is a little anecdote. A very long time ago, I had board books that I wanted to sell for children's rights in China, and I could never find the publisher, and they always wanted to do the books in paper or something else. And one day I was sitting at the fair in Bologna, and the publisher came and they sat down and they said, "We're ready to do the board books." And it took years. I had to wait. Once they started, they never stopped. The same publisher is still publishing these board books today, and they've been very successful with them. So it's always a question of finding the moment, finding what's happening, finding the right partners, being patient, listening, looking, paying attention to everyone, and especially having fun. Dami and Giunti both. I used to work in Dami in the beginning, and I'm with the Giunti group now, and both catalogs have a high level of children's stories in them, from fairy tales to fiction to nonfiction to YA, and these stories have been changing hands, going back and forth across the ocean for many years. A great help now has been our new Chinese agent, Sarah Wang. She does an excellent job with her team. And our two catalogs have been traveling, I'd say, quite well into the Chinese market. We made a wonderful acquisition in Giunti a few years ago. The very, very famous and important international Chinese author, Cao Wengshuan. I'm sure I've pronounced that incorrectly, so my excuses and my apologies now. We published his lovely novel called Bronze and Sunflower, and we followed up on that with another one called The Straw House, and that's been a strong and important part of our catalog for the last few years. At about the same time, we started a special collaboration with the China Children Publishing Group, CCPPG, and Madame Zhang, who is the director of that group, and our editorial director, children's editorial director, Beatrice Fini, reached an agreement to collaborate on 3 children's books. And in each of these books, the illustrator was Italian and the texts were written by the Chinese author. So a Pandy board book was done for the youngest readers with our imprint Editoriale Scienza. A lovely book about the Chinese scientist Tu Yu was created. And with Fatatrack imprint, a very nice picture book called I Love You was created. And we have found that over the years, the Chinese market is extremely receptive. I think that it's a very smart market because I see the Chinese children wanting to learn and wanting to read, but I also see the Chinese publishers being very smart about finding the right books and presenting them at the right time and really having the best conversation they could be having with the readers. And keeping them engaged. And this is what's really important. So we found great enthusiasm with our books that are about science. And in fact, China is usually one of the first markets to take those books on. And we've also had a lot of luck with picture books too, which is a different kind of learning, the emotional learning, where you have very few words and a lot of the stories told through the illustrations. And there too, we found the Chinese publishers and the Chinese market to be very receptive. Leaping forward to today, we have a character for younger children called Tip the Mouse, and he began in 2004. China was one of the first countries that we sold the rights to, and I'm very happy to say that China Children, CCPPG, is still publishing Topo Tip today. There are 24 books in the series, and they keep changing the formats and redesigning, and it's been a successful series for them, as it has in many other countries. And it's definitely one of the underlying strengths of our relationship with the company. In fact, one of the trips that we made to China was specifically to launch the character, and they did an amazing job. It was really incredible. So today we have Dr. Giunti, who is our president and publisher, and he is also fascinated with China and modern Chinese literature. In fact, he asks us often to look for the best and most important titles to consider for publication in Italy. And Giunti Editore is also the publisher of the president of China's most recent volumes. Xi Jinping has published two books, and Giunti has published both of them. And I believe that cultural exchange like this is the basis for understanding. The more we get to know each other, the more we know about each other, the more we can deepen our relationships, strengthen them, and find more things that we can do together in the publishing world. I think that for children especially, having fun is really important, and the Chinese publishers are able to strike a great balance between a lot of learning, a lot of information, and bringing children on board in terms of activity and energy, and stimulating their curiosity and making sure that they're really enjoying the books that they're reading. And this is obviously one of the bases that Giunti has been working on for many years, being one of the largest children's book publisher in Italy. So the combination for us has been fantastic. And I have to say that right now, it does sadden me greatly to not have been able to go to China this year, to know that we probably won't be able to go to Beijing in August this year. It might be a little bit too soon for travel. But I have to say, I'm really missing it, and really hoping that all of our Chinese friends and colleagues can come here to visit us as soon as possible. One other very important person that I would like to mention is a gentleman who used to be the director of one of the publishing houses that we worked with, China Children, and his name is Mingzu Zhang, and he is now the director of the IBBY, the International Children's Book Foundation. And he is a wonderful human being, and it was very exciting for me to have met him right at the time when he was just about to become the director of this amazing agency that does so much work around the globe for children's books. And the fact that he's there right now as the voice for all children's books around the world, but that he hails from China, and that we had already worked with him, I think is a fabulous combination of things, and I'd like to say hello to him. He's a very special person indeed. I hope you have a chance to meet him as well. So, I really wanted to put some things in this video, such as a nice espresso, some gelato, the things that we're all really missing from Bologna. Our hearts are there, I know. It's springtime in Italy. The flowers are blooming, it's really gorgeous out, and I can't tell you how sorry I am that we're not all there at this time, but we will be there soon, and in the meantime, Bologna Book Fair has made this exceptional virtual place for us to all meet. And so I'm glad you're all here. Thank you for coming. Enjoy yourselves, look around, find new things, do as you have always done, have a great time, and let's keep in touch. Take care. Thanks. Bye-bye.
From each corner of the world, we are united online today for the experience of the unique digital edition of BCBF. However, it's essential for the entire children's publishing community to meet each other face to face. We all miss the vibe of beautiful Bologna in its amazing fair. Well, you don't have to wait till next year to get the feeling again. Come to Bologna in the East, China Shanghai International Children's Book Fair. Explore the massive market of China and enjoy the oriental charm of this fascinating city, Shanghai. Established in 2013, CCBF, the China Shanghai International Children's Book Fair, will launch its 8th edition in 2020. It will take place on November 13 to 15 at the Shanghai World Expo Exhibition and Convention Center. CCBF is the only fair in Asia Pacific fully dedicated to books and specific content for children. Let's have a look on the facts and the figure of last year. CCBF has brought together 418 exhibitors from 32 countries and territories. Among them, 186 are from overseas. We have invited 102 official guests and 57 international ones included. Over the 3 days, CCBF received over 40,000 visitors from 50 countries and territories, including 16,145 professional visitors. The fair covers around 25,000 square meters, and there are 5 featured exhibitions and 345 professional and reading promotional events. A successful book fair is always accompanied with a rich program of events. CCBF puts knowledge exchange and discovery at the center of the mission. So let's go through it. In 2019, 10 sessions of conferences and seminars featured 61 international speakers and attracted 3,000 attendants. Data, trends, business practices, creative dialogue, and training not to forget a wide array of exhibitions, will all be on the menu of our professional program. SHVIP, Shanghai Visiting International Publisher Fellowship, is designed for the editors and publishers who are interested in Chinese content, with the selection of a group of 10 to 12 every year. During the 6 days guided tour, we will have the opportunity to get detailed insight into the local publishing landscape from an exclusive perspective. This year, the calling for application already opens. You could visit our official website to get more information. The Golden Pinwheel Young Illustrators competition started from 2015, providing a venue for illustrators to showcase their talent. In 2019, we obtained submissions from 1,999 illustrators from 72 countries and territories. A jury committee of 5 international experts will select 50 finalists. We have set 4 awards: Grand Award China, Grand Award International, Special Mention, and the People's Choice Award. The Golden Pinwheel is not just a competition. It is a comprehensive program, including the exhibition on site, an illustrated yearbook, and a variety of promotion campaign. The call is open now. More details to be found in our website. Collaborated with MeMaster Illustration from Milan and supported by BCBF, the Illustrators Survival Corner is a program featuring interactive workshops and seminars particularly designed for illustrators, picture book editors, and anyone professionally interested in the illustrated children's book. Last year, our program featured 10 master classes, 8 workshops, and 40 portfolio reviews, with 90 tutors and speakers involved, and attract about 1,800 illustrators. Last year, CCBF also launched Children's Plus, a new stream of events aiming to cast light on a trend, a topical subject, a book category, or theme of special relevance for the global publishing industry. It started successfully with a focus on the best children's books on art, architecture, and design. This year, the program will focus on toddlers books. Okay, so after my brief introduction of the fair and some highlights, let's have a look at what people said about CCBF. Here are some feedback from our exhibitors. From Chinese publishing houses and international publishing houses. Of course, and our guests from our official events also gave a very positive evaluation, and many of them have a great time in Shanghai. In 2019, around 198 media conduct in-depth and comprehensive coverage for the fair, from international professional media to Chinese mainstream media, trade media, and public media. A total of 586 reports have been published. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact us. If you are based outside of China, please contact our overseas office in Bologna. For the Greater China region, please contact our Shanghai office. Last but not least, the easiest way to know us is to follow us, whether through the official website, ccbookfair.com, or our social media. Please follow us: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, WeChat, and Weibo. So, I warmly welcome every one of you to visit CCBF 2020. We see you in Shanghai this November.